What's going on, tubers? Welcome back to Blues Channel 66. I'm at my second home. I'm well qualified to represent at the beach. A one-of-a-kind and original. And this brother, like he would always say, you see me looking up at the clouds. He says he's always watching from the clouds. Remember how he used to say that in his content? Y'all remember that? I'd like to say once again, R.I.P. to the legendary David Carroll. I'm going by his username that he used on YouTube, and I call him DC, David Carroll. Also, I call him, as a nickname, I call him Sergeant Cigar. And the reason why I say that is because, let's quiz you guys. What do you think he gets shines from? Use your noggin. He gets that from Sergeant Waters, from a classic film called A Soldier Story. I grew up on that film as a kid. My Uncle Marvin, he served in the United States Army. As kids, he had me and my brother and my little cousin, Lil Marvin, he had us watching The Soldier Story. One thing about David Carroll, had that impactful, you know what I mean, commentary that was solid, and only the weak wouldn't be able to stomach what he would say, you know what I mean? Mostly when he would go in on black men, when he would talk about us, you know what I mean? You would have to stomach that, and you would have to get the message. And see, I always got the message. The message was, you know, a lot of times when David Carroll would say things like, you're not the sharpest knife in a drawer, or you're not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree. You're not the brightest bulb on the tree. Also, when he would say, black men, they're just dumb. They're just dumb. How he would always say that. Not one time did I ever get into my so-called feelings. Oh, matter of fact, I'm the one, I didn't make up so-called. With the Bill Cosby video, I said, so-called set in stone. I mean, everybody says it now. You know what I mean? Everybody says so-called in their videos now. It's ironic that ever since I started saying so-called this, so-called that in my vids, other than that, back to David Carroll. Not one time have I ever gotten into my feelings about what David Carroll said about black men being dumb. Now, this is what I want you guys to take from this, especially you young brothers out there. I want you guys to peep out that film, A Soldier Story. There's a scene where Private Peterson, that was Denzel Washington's character, Private Peterson, he got into it with Sergeant Waters. You know, he felt like Sergeant Waters was a bad person and he wanted to fight him. And he felt like since he had the youth and he was taller, bigger, stronger, that he could take Sergeant Waters out. Use your noggin. Let's just take David Carroll, for example. David Carroll wasn't that old, supposedly. He was 56, so that makes him 10 years older than me. I'm 46. So, but I always thought David Carroll was older for some reason, but just, this is my point right here. If you're ever faced with a situation where you have somebody that's older and they're trying to tell you something, and they may say, black men are dumb, You know what I mean? Really read into it as far as the message. Follow the message. You see what I'm saying? David Carroll was trying to teach us something. When he says things like, you in your 50s and you got a tag on your hat, take that damn tag off your hat. You got a gray beard with a tag on your hat, take that damn tag off your hat. You know, when he would say black men record their dysfunction online for the world to see, all that stuff he was saying, you got to read into the message. He's trying to tell you to conduct yourself better while you're putting yourself out there in front of the world to see online. You know what I mean? Your image. You know what I mean? That's what he was trying to tell us. And I'm not just saying that because he passed, but I'm just telling you that I always got the message. That's why I was subscribed to him since 2013. And I've always had him right there at the top column of my solid watchers list. David Carroll was always number one, and he's still up there right now, to this day. Now, another thing, let me get to stepping. Another thing that David Carroll would say is very ironic that he would say this, because I always knew ever since I subbed to his channel in 2013 that him and I had a few things in common. I just knew it for some reason. I don't know if it was just the delivery on how he would come across in his content, but it's ironic that he would always say he was a classic horror film fanatic. Now, yours truly, me, Nah-ahh, I've been saying I was a classic horror film fanatic way before David Carroll, on my Facebook group, on MySpace in the MySpace days, and when I came to YouTube, I would always say that when I would showcase like my classic horror figurines and films, DVDs and all that. So that's what we had in common. We both were classic horror film fanatics, and we both would say it. Second thing we had in common, as far as when we go back to horror, David Carroll's favorite all-time horror film is The Exorcist. That's funny. How is it that before I even came to YouTube, I released a song called Damn It, that's still on iTunes. I'll leave the link in the description box. And it's funny that I sample little parts of The Exorcist, even on the cover art of the song. So, other than that, we had that in common. You know, my release in 2009, releasing that song on iTunes. And it's funny how David Carroll likes that film. That's his favorite all-time film. And that's one of my favorites. My favorite all-time horror film is, of course, 1978 classic John Carpenter's Halloween, the original. But another thing that me and DC had in common, I'm gonna park it right here. Another thing that me and DC, David Carroll, had in common. You won't believe this, that David Carroll was an Aries brother, just like me. And it's ironic that DC, David Carroll's birthday, is on April 15th. When's my birthday? My birthday is on April 17th, 2 days after his. So David Carroll was an Aries brother, just like me. He's April 15th, I'm April 17th. We both are classic horror film fanatics. That's funny. Those things we have in common. And also, I've always lived on my own. I mean, 12 years ago or so, yeah, I had my ex from way back. She stayed with me for 2 years in my apartment when I lived downtown Long Beach. But other than that, I've always lived on my own, and I still live on my own. And I believe David Carroll always lived on his own. This was the only way I could do this today is come out here by the beach and film, because I wanted to, while I'm filming myself, I wanted to look at the skies and say, hey yo, DC, David Carroll, like you would always say, you watching from the clouds? I bet you're still doing that. Salute. So it's such a beautiful day out here, I swear. Southern California, SoCal, my home. I'm a West Coast native, born and raised in SoCal. And I tell you, a lot of times, another thing I wanted to bring up, you guys see on my channel, you see maybe some of my videos tinted in blue. I was born with blue eyes, you know what I'm saying? And my nickname is Blue, you know what I mean? Blue J. My recording artist's name when I used to record music, you know, when I used to record my indie music, it was always Blue J. I might throw up the West Coasters because that's where I'm from. I'm from Southern California, born and raised. I'm a West Coast native. And my favorite color, you won't believe it, is charcoal gray. Then there's the royal blue, then there's the navy blue, then there's the baby blue, and then I like burgundy too. Not so much maroon, but I like how maroon looks on women though. But a lot of my towels, a lot of my beach towels are burgundy. It's so beautiful out here. It's so damn beautiful out here that I don't even want to go home. Seriously. But I just want to record this, get that background of the beach. Southern California, SoCal, my home. I'm a West Coast native, born and raised. And it's so beautiful out here, very beautiful out here. So again, this video is dedicated to David Carroll. Your content will always be embraced. Rest in peace, brother. Take care, man. All right, then, tubers, feel free to sub, share, comment, like, and I'll catch you guys on another one.